comes from the Mansfield Leisure Centre, Mansfield in Nottinghamshire, which is kind of sandwiched between South Yorkshire and Leicestershire, if my memory serves me right. Main event tonight features Andy Holligan, the leading contender for the European light welterweight contest. But we're going to kick off with a 6-round bantamweight contest between this young fella, Kevin Jenkins, against the sensational Naseem Hamed. And I say that, and I absolutely mean it. I think Britain's best bet for a major championship in the near future. But Jenkins, a right tough opponent. His record doesn't look too inspiring. 3 wins, a dozen losses and 3 draws. But when I tell you the kind of men he's faced, I think you'll understand why. Here's Hamed. Very theatrical. Walked to the ring by John Ingle. But the thing about Hamed's antics, he can actually back them up. I'm not so sure that I agree with his disco dancing on the way to the ring. And if you're wondering where Chris Eubank got his antics from, it was from this young fellow when Eubank visited Brendan Ingle's gym in Sheffield and saw Naseem Hamed, or Naz as he's known, leaping over the top rope just like that. And everything else he's ever done. And here's a face-off here between these 2 young fellas. And of course Jenkins knows exactly what Hamed's made of. Managed by Brendan Ingle, promoted by Mickey Duff these days. Jenkins have pro since December 89. Here's MC Mike Goodall.
3-minute rounds in the blue corner wearing blue trunks. Would you please welcome from Ammanford in Wales, Kevin Jenkins.
There he is, Kevin Jenkins, 22 years of age, from South Wales, Ammanford, near Swansea.
His opponent in the red corner wearing the green trunks, formerly from the Yemen, now from Sheffield, Prince Naseem Hamed.
There he is then, Prince Naseem Hamed. And forward roll and somersault. Well, he's full of himself, isn't he? Only 19 years of age as well. I've known him for about, since he was 12 or 13, I think. And he's always been a cheeky little monster. But as I say, he can back it up. He's a hell of a punch. I sparred with him once, and he only hit me in the chest, thankfully, for a few rounds, and I could hardly breathe for a week. Anyway, Kevin Jenkins, a good test here. And when I tell you that Jenkins' last fight, he took Paul Weir the full 8-round distance. Weir recently crowned the WBO strawweight champion. So good form that by Jenkins. It also held Darren Fifield to a draw. Fifield was beaten recently in a Southern Area title fight against Mickey Cantwell. For some good lands, but he will never have faced anyone like Hamed, who's a switch hitter coming out in the southpaw stance. Hamed's parents originally come from the Yemen, or Aden as it used to be called, but now the countries have amalgamated. And Kevin Jenkins is incredibly game, brave performer, and he'll need to be here. That or incredibly smart. He's boxed Robbie Reagan, lost on points over 10 rounds. That was for the vacant Welsh flyweight championship a couple of years ago, and referee Jim Pridding there warning Hamed for slapping. And I should think Kevin Jenkins saying, well, I don't mind if he slaps me, I'd much prefer that to a knuckle. And Robbie Reagan, of course, is the current European flyweight champion. He also boxed and beat James Drummond, Kevin Jenkins, and Drummond went on to fight for the British title on 2 occasions. He fought Robbie Reagan and Francis Ampofo. Lost both times, but acquitted himself well. He fought the Finn, Antti Jantuma, as well, lost on points in Helsinki. So as you can see, Jenkins, not a bad little fight at all. Points lost also to the former British bantamweight champion, Joe Kelly. So Hamed then using all the antics, and Jenkins there trying to match him for that. I think Hamed is our next best bet for a major championship. I know manager Brendan Ingle's trying to get Hamed a crack at the European bantamweight crown, and it won't stop there, believe me. Some people criticise him for being too much of a showman, but I must admit I do like that. We do need characters in British boxing. Try and get the crowds back in. They'll either pay to see him win or lose, and who cares? 7 on the spin so far, Hamed. And beaten a couple of tough guys. Only Peter Buckley from the Midlands has taken Hamed the distance so far. Stopped my old pal Des Gargano in 4 rounds, and last time out beat the formerly unbeaten Alan Lay, another Welshman, in 2. The last fight was in February. Now they're really putting some power behind that right hook that just whizzed past the chin of Jenkins. But he's such a classy fighter. And I know Brendan Eagles had this Hamed since he was 8 years of age. 11 or 12 years now. Has taught him everything. Goes to all the minor shows up and down the country. And telling everyone he's the next champion of the world. And you better believe it. Good round there for Hamed. Won everything possible as an amateur. In the junior ranks, never boxed as a senior. Had thoughts of representing the Yemen at the Barcelona Olympic Games, but decided to punch for pay instead. Former schoolboy champion on numerous occasions, won the junior ABAs as well, also the NABC championships. Boxed for the England youth team as well. So round 2 then of a scheduled 6 threes. Well, a stumble there and almost an uppercut to put Jenkins on the floor. Well, looks like Hamed's going to pick his punches a bit more sensibly here. And you're well aware of Jenkins' previous record, because I've given it to you already, so an early win here for Hamed will be a very good indicator of how he might stand with Robbie Reagan. That's assuming, of course, he can make flyweight again, which is probably in a bit of doubt now. He's 19 and growing all the time, and I understand the British Boxing Board of Control have dropped the British Championship age limit to 20 from 21. Good punches these from Hamed, and I tell you, they do hurt. Jenkins gamely taking them. He's managed by Cass Davis. Well, I was chatting to matchmaker Terry Toole, who assures me that Hamed is severely outgrowing the domestic scene. He's going to have to start bringing in foreign opponents for Hamed. And Jenkins hurt by these punches. You don't often see him discouraged. And Hamed, they're backing off. He doesn't want to inflict more than is necessary. Hoping that Jim Pritting will soon dive in to rescue Jenkins, who's getting through with the odd punch, but nothing too significant at this point. Well, I'm surprised the crowd aren't asking for this one to be stopped at this point. It's a painful, one-sided match at the moment. And it's really hard to criticise Hamed. He does tend to look like he loses concentration, but he's fully aware of what's going on. Knows exactly where his opponent is. But with only his 8th professional fight, you'd expect the odd crease to be ironed out eventually, and there's not many of them. So inside the last 30 seconds of round 2. Oh, lovely left hook. And Jenkins doing well to absorb these punches. They're good. And they're hurtful. And not many people stop Kevin Jenkins. Danny Porter did in 7. So that's the end of the second. A superb round there for Hamed. James Drummond did the second time they met in 5. And Danny Porter also stopped Jenkins on a cut the second time they met, but that's it. Bit of replay of these whipping body shots and head punches from Hamed. Lovely left hook. And he can hit you with either hand. He doesn't care where they land.
Round 3.
And class written all over Hamed as we enter round 3. Well, I should imagine that Jenkins is fairly near to the end of his tether here. He's hardly landed a worthwhile punch, and that's no disgrace really, because better men have tried and failed. And I dare say Hamed, oh, lovely body shot there. I was about to say he's going to be looking for a clean finish, and that was a lovely body shot. See Norman Maddox there, the timekeeper, tolling the count in the background. Well, he's up at 8.5. If he'd had any sense, he'd have stayed down, but as I say, he's very game. So the finish is in sight. Well, once again there, Hamed whipping in these hooks to both head and body. And it's got to be over soon, surely. Really breaking Jenkins up now. And young Kevin's never had a fight like this.
Knocked down there, okay.
Well, Jim Pritting there, calling that one low. Another thing about Hamed, not only is he very good offensively, he's very hard to hit with a clean shot. And really putting some meat behind those body shots now. Jenkins almost keeled over again. Referee Jim Pritting just checking it, and the towels come in from that corner. Well, the referee is in his rights to ignore it. Says box on. And the fighters are always the last to know, aren't they? Well, referee Jim Pritting now has decided that Jenkins has had quite enough for one night, and I don't blame him. I would like to have seen that ending earlier, but Hamed records his 8th pro win, 7 inside the distance. What a record. And I can't, I must admit, see any flies, bantams, or come to that featherweights in this country touching this fella. Good performance. Brutally executed.
58 seconds of the third round, the referee has stopped the contest.
Wait for the flip.
In no position to continue. The winner, Prince Naseem Ahmed.
There he is then, declared the winner by MC Mike Goodall, and that's the way he ends them all. And someone's knocked one of his teeth out, and I bet it wasn't in a boxing ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'd like to show you...
Well, we're going to take a break now, but we're going to be back with Mark McCreath against Peter Till. I hope you'll stay with us.